So I think we'll very quickly dispense with or talk about and then dispense with the Trump plan to put 100% tariff on all movies made outside the United States. First of all, it's impossible to tell what it means that a movie is made outside the United States. They can be financed here, but filmed partially outside and partially here. And there's a lot of German tax incentives and tax shelters that mean that movies are incorporated outside the United States that you would think of as being entirely American. Ed Epstein wrote a whole book about this. You can read it if you want to. The plan is Meshuggah. Excuse me. It will go nowhere. It doesn't mean anything. Movies are a very weird form of business product. The entire film industry has been screaming now for 2 years about the crisis in California over film employment. Not just because of the writer strikes of a year and a half ago, which suspended all production, but because of this issue that it's increasingly impossible for film production to be done in California in any way that is cost effective. Why he's coming in and saying, you know what, it's the fault of these foreigners, we'll do something to tariff it, rather than saying Gavin Newsom and the Democrats are driving this state into the ocean. They stink, get them out, and maybe they'll do the right thing by your industry, Hollywood. Instead of coming after me, go after them. They're the ones who are ruining you, who let the Pacific Palisades catch on fire because they don't fill reservoirs, who are letting homeless people go around and, basically defecate in the streets of Los Angeles and San Francisco. Why he's decided to use this as part of his battering ram, in favor of tariffs with people who don't appreciate him, who are screaming in horror at the idea of tariffs on movies because, it could mean that, Amelia Perez doesn't get a full distribution in the United States or something. I don't know. It's politically very odd. It shows, as I think Christine says, not only that he was a Democrat his whole life, but that he is motivated by factors and things that do not conform even with his own sense of what political policy should be. He wants to yell and scream about how liberals are all terrible, but it's always about how they're terrible in relation to something that he has a personal financial stake in, or his sons have a personal financial stake in, or something like that. Not about something real that is a political issue in the largest state in the country, which, if it could be moved for closer to the right or moved off the left and sort of toward the middle, the political consequences for the United States could be enormous. Imagine a California in which the Senate is potentially in play between Democrats and Republicans, or political districts are actually in play between Democrats and Republicans, though they have this weird jungle primary election system where, you can sort of win not as a Democrat. Nonetheless, he's weirdly changing the subject where he could be creating, fomenting a movement about the risks of having liberals with their liberal tax policies destroying industries within individual states, which is an issue in blue states everywhere, right? It is overregulation, overtaxation of businesses that cause them to flee and go to places where they're more welcome. The being welcome being shown by, let's just say, general lower tax rates, not necessarily specific to an industry, but it's half as costly for your workforce to work in Arizona as it is in New York State, or something like that.